Hello everyone and welcome to the Matrix Exodus, and today I want to talk about the Ombudsman, the fraud of the Ombudsman, and I'm hoping to encourage people to start using the court system and tribunal system again. First of all, this is the Ombudsman's report for 22 to 23. I haven't looked at it, but if you notice, it's got the 666. This is not a good organisation or a good service. This is, in my opinion, it prevents people from taking their cases to court. There's a claim that if you don't use the Ombudsman, the courts will frown upon you and will take a sort of disliking to your case. That may well be the truth. Maybe the courts are within this sort of fraudulent system, but at the end of the day, we pay tax to have a court system. We need a court system to ensure that we receive justice, and you are not going to receive justice through an ombudsman. First of all, any time that they say that there needs to be reparations or compensation, the organisation who the claim is against does not have to abide by the rules of the Ombudsman at all. And so they may say you've got to receive an award, but that company doesn't have to pay it. There's far more repercussions if you don't pay, and the court has stated that they had to pay an award for compensation. So the Ombudsman as well, it's many elements. There's the communications, housing, energy, health, finance, and we're just going to have a look at the reviews through Trustpilot at what the people think of the Ombudsman, and this is again why you should not be using the Ombudsman. So this is communications 2.4, they're rubbish. Housing 1.5, they're rubbish. Energy 3.5, they're rubbish. Finance 1.3, they're rubbish. There's no point using them. They take up time. The claiming through the Ombudsman is so incredibly slow that and there are time deadlines within the court system and the legal system. If you are late in presenting a claim through the courts, you can't make that claim unless it's exceptional circumstances. So it's very, very rare that you can bring a claim if you've not met the deadline. And they might be 3 months, 6 months, 3 years. But this slow process with the Ombudsman, I believe, is intentional to prevent you from then using the courts. I think they also make other claims, maybe, I don't know. Some of these reviews state that the organisations who the Ombudsman service is supposed to be investigating, such as companies and businesses and corporations, they fund or pay towards the Ombudsman. But the Ombudsman at the same time claims to be independent. Now, I haven't looked into that element particularly closely because I don't use the Ombudsman. I simply write my complaints to the organisation. I take a screenshot of the Trustpilot reviews and I send copies of those screenshots to the companies, and I just simply say I won't be using the Ombudsman as you suggest on your website because they do not provide a service which is satisfactory. And then I just go on with my court proceedings. But obviously a lot of people are using the Ombudsman. Look at that, 90% 1 star. I don't there's sort of like a threat that if you don't use the Ombudsman first, then and you go to the courts, then the courts will frown upon that. and I don't know how true that is because I'm not a judge, but we do all pay tax through various means. And that tax is supposed to provide the service of justice. Excuse me, I've got hay fever. So there is a expectation on our part through paying tax that that justice system has to be served to us, and they cannot frown upon us not using the ombudsman if the ombudsman is, well, crap. So I do encourage people to start going through the court system. I always write in the beginning of mine that I identify in this day and age of self-identification as a living woman. And the reason why I do that is because it then turns me from being a person or a company in the eyes of law to a human and to being natural. So it already surrounds me with natural law, which is in my favour. So you can always do that. You can always write, I'm a living man or I'm a living woman, and I do not identify as a person, but only as a living man or a living woman. And then you can start making your cases. Don't go through the ombudsman. If the courts do frown upon you because you've used the ombudsman, well, I'm interpreting that claim to be that, you know, companies have made an offer of an award, and if you've not accepted it, then the courts may think, well, that was a reasonable offer, why did they not accept it? But I don't think that you need to go through the ombudsman. It seems to be something that the companies are pushing. I would avoid it. I would avoid it based on the fact that it's got a great big 666. That's reason enough for me. Is that the war guy from Ukraine? Let's have a look at some of these pictures, see who's in there, let's see what it's about. I'm not going to read it with you, but we'll just have a look at some of the images that they're using. Okay. Got their woman in there. Got their BAME at the beginning as well. Got their women again. So, they're very politically correct, which explains the 666, I guess. Old white man. How dare they? That's a lot of Chinese. Is that Chinese people? And then you've got your LGBT in there as well. Yeah. Your LGBT and your Chinese group. I wonder why there's so many. Yeah, don't be using the ombudsman. This is not in your favour. This is a 666 programme. And people may not like me saying those sorts of things, but it's very true. There is something dodgy about these organisations with these 3 6s in the logos. And otherwise, I think I've made a fair case of why it's a shoddy job to use the ombudsman. I don't know what there we go, Pride. I don't really know why people are using the ombudsman. I just haven't ever gone through them, ever. But I think that I have seen where organisations and companies and corporations do say they have a complaints procedure, and they'll say stage 1 you've got to do this, this and this. So you follow that procedure. Stage 2, if you're still not happy, go do this, and then they'll explain what kind of letter they want you to do. And then, you know, there might be stage 2 and stage 3 where they suggest the ombudsman. Well, ignore that. Just take the photos of the reviews, not necessarily like screenshots, and just say, I will not be going through the ombudsman. It's rubbish. It's unreliable. Again, let's have a look. I'm only briefly going through this because I found that the Ukrainian man there was interesting on the front page, and then obviously a lot of LGBT in there, and you've also got the 666 on there, and you've also got your political correctness, which is a big red flag to me. Okay. Right. Well, and you've got the Chinese group as well, that big group of Chinese people. They might not be of any significance to the overall workings of the ombudsman. I don't know, I was just looking at the images. But anywhere that is politically correct, I would be distrusting of them in the first place. And then, you know, you've got to start, people have got to start respecting themselves. This person who I'm helping at the moment, because I'm helping people, I write letters for people, £100 a go, and I probably increase the prices, but they're letting all this stuff slide because they don't know what to do, and everything's going into a real deep, dark, depressive state for them. And I do feel bad for them. This person's with housing, and look at the housing ombudsman. Their housing association suggested that they go for the housing ombudsman if they're not happy, and look at the reviews for that. I said to them, don't you dare go through that. I'll write a few letters. Already the housing association has offered them £150 in compensation, so they've already got their money back from my writing a letter. But I've said to them, don't stop just yet. We'll start legal proceedings and you'll get a few thousand. You could even get tens of thousands, this woman could. If I don't go in and represent discriminative fascist staff. No, the next government will not be closing them. Dear. Yeah. People don't know what to do because they're being directed towards the ombudsman. And the ombudsman is a 666 organisation. And there's certain people who just say, no, that's nonsense. All this 666 stuff, it's nonsense. They're fine, but they are a 666 organisation. Okay, well, I hope that this has been helpful. I hope people stop using them. I hope you know how to stop using them in your court case to show that their reviews are useless, and show them to be useless and unreliable, so you pay tax and you expect your justice system to be available to you for that reason. For now, goodbye. Please like, subscribe, comment and share, because it all helps these videos go, get caught up through the algorithm. And I'll be back soon. Bye.